Good morning, peace and blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor, and I'm back, and I'm back, and I'm back with another video. This gonna be a very, very educational video. I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm just gonna get straight to it, y'all, man. Hope everybody having a great day, enjoying their Tuesday morning. But yeah, let's get to it. And as the title says, November 1st is coming up. Government shutdown. Who's responsible? Who's to blame for this? Now, there's been a lot of misconceptions out there about what's going on with this government shutdown. And before I even get into that, it's something that's been very interesting with the governor, the race for the governor in Virginia. Uh, you got a Democrat by the name of Abigail Spanberger, and she's going up against Lieutenant Governor, uh, Republican Winsome Earl Sears. Now, what's interesting is the Democrat lady, both women in this situation, the Democrat is a white liberal, and the Republican nominee is a black woman. Now, it's crazy because Barack Obama and the NAACP came out and endorsed the white liberal lady over the black conservative. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And right now they say that the Democrat Abigail Spanberger, so Spanberger is the white lady Democrat, is in the lead 50% to 43%. So it's close, but you know, Abigail Spanberger has the lead. But interesting enough, man, that's why I say when it comes to the Democratic Party, it's Democrat, pro-black is pro-Democrat. That's basically what you got here. When you got the NAACP stamping the Democratic nominee over the black conservative lady. Now, make no mistake, this lady Spanberger, she's in favor of a lot of things that are far left, like men and women's sports, uh, men and women bathrooms. And the black lady is more like conservative. You know what I'm saying? Man is man, women is women. Um, she's not with all that foolishness in the schools and stuff like that. So it's an interesting race. But I've been posting pictures and things like that on our community wall of the black lady, Winsome Earl Sears. If you go on our community wall, scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. But man, for Barack Obama and the NAACP to make all this fuss about black people, see, it's pro-black until it's a Democrat versus a Republican. Barack Obama came out here scolding black men during the 2024 presidential run, like scolding black men like you supposed to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a black woman. She knows what you've been through, and why? How could you? She knows the struggle, and then to turn around and endorse a white candidate over a black candidate, a black woman at that, is very interesting. So yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting race. I see that a lot of people are talking about it, but I just wanted to bring that to y'all attention if y'all wasn't aware of that. But let's get off into what we here to discuss, and that is the government shutdown. Now, there's been a lot of misconceptions. Like I said, I've been doing some research on things, but this is basically on the Democrats, bro. You know, they were supposed to sign see they going back and forth about these different cuts to the spending bill with the big beautiful bill. As you can remember in the beginning of the year when Elon Musk and Doge came in and did all those cuts to all those ridiculous programs. Uh so Basically, what the Democrats are upset about is about $5 billion in cuts that were made to Doge. These people wanted. Let's run down a little list of a few examples of what was going on. The things that Doge cut. That was some of the things that they cut. That was inconveniencing the taxpayers. Stuff we were paying for with our tax dollars. Uh, 25.6 million in climate resilience in Honduras. So you got like $26 million going to climate resilience in Honduras. You got $13.4 million in civic engagement in Zimbabwe. You had 3.9 million on LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans, wherever that's at. You had 2.9 million on uh, desert locust risk reduction in Africa. You had another 2 million on organizing for feminist principles in Africa. 500,000 on liberal broadcasting networks. In addition to $1.5 trillion for healthcare for illegal immigrants. This is all the stuff that the Democrats want in the spending bill. That's why the Republicans are like, hell no, we're not adding all that stuff back. You know, we made the cuts. This is what the American people voted for. And you hear some of the ridiculousness that they wanted. And I'll come back to that to kind of, research that. But outside of the healthcare for illegal immigrants, that's a $5 billion on nonsense, right? So those made those cuts, and the Democrat Party wants those back in the spending bill. So what the Republicans did, like, hey, we having these negotiations about the spending bill. The deadline was October the 1st. We have to come to some type of resolution. So that's why they have something in place called a clean resolution, aka a CR, that Congress agrees upon. Congress agrees on this nonpartisan uh, spending bill, so they can keep the government funded. So the most significant, now we in the shutdown, but this is nothing new. The most significant shutdowns include the 35-day shutdown of 2018 and 2019 during Trump's first term over expending barriers on the U.S.-Mexican border. So we remember when he was trying to build the wall and they were trying to get the funding for that back in 2018, 19. They fought Trump on that. So they didn't want to agree to it. So we had a 35-day shutdown. That's the longest shutdown in history, quite naturally during Trump's administration. And the second largest shutdown was a 21-day shutdown of 1995 and 1996 during Bill Clinton's administration over spending cuts, right? So that's kind of similar to what's going on now. So 35 days with Trump's first administration was the longest. The second longest was during Bill Clinton's. So we're right in the middle of that right now as we speak. The government been shut down October 1st, 2025 of this year. The federal government shut down. It was at midnight Eastern Standard Time, and we are like 27 to 28 days in this current shutdown. So we right in the dead smack in the middle of the longest between the second. So we in the second largest, longest, I should say, government shutdown in American history right now. Crazy. So one of the biggest misconceptions is that Republican had a house, they got the Senate, they got the presidency, so they should be able to just pass whatever they want. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. Uh, so the House and the Senate make up Congress, right? So they presented the clean CR, the continuing resolution to keep the government open, which doesn't have any Republican policies in it. It doesn't have any Democrat policies. It's just neutral to keep the government funded while they continue to have this discussion over these cuts. But people, can still get paid and all of that, right? So the misconception is this. The House of Representatives, yeah, it's majority Republican, and they already voted for the clean resolution. They don't even have any Republican policies in the bill. They don't really even like the bill, but they signed the bill just to come to that temporary agreement through the clean resolution agreement, the CR. So, but now the House of Representatives, they already been signed the bill by October 1st. Now, the Senate, although we have more Republicans, we only have 53 Republicans in the Senate, and we still need 60 votes to pass it through the Senate. The Democrats know this, but they spinning a narrative to the people like, oh, they got the House and the Senate. They can do whatever they want to do. No, you still need 60 votes to secure the Senate, and we only got 53 Republicans in the Senate. Now, we got 55 votes right now. So we had two Democrats to vote with the Republicans to open up the government. We need 5 more Democrats to open up the vote to open up the government. That's all we need is 5 more Democrats. So that is essentially why the government is shut down right now. And the effects of the shutdown is this. Uh, People that don't get paid, like federal employees, the U.S. troops, border patrol agents, TSA, the airports, air traffic controllers. And then you got 42 million people that are on SNAP benefits, like food stamps and things of that nature. Now, come November 1st, they saying if they can't come up with a spending bill to be signed by the president, people on the streets are saying come November 1st, if food stamps are not available, there will be large riots at supermarkets across the country. People saying they gonna go steal if they can't get they food stamps, man. And you got 42 million people that rely on food stamps. That's a ridiculous number of people. So what people are saying, man, go ahead, do all your grocery shopping now, get it out the way so you don't have to worry about dealing with potential, you know, riots and stuff at grocery stores because, man, people need their food. You know what I'm saying? So I would encourage everybody to go ahead next couple days, get enough food for you to last you a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? To see what's going on with this. Uh, and also, you know, Walmart. Walmart said they will be closing their doors come November 1st because they heard everybody saying what they gonna do. And they said you're gonna have to order online. But their doors gonna be locked. So they workers gonna have to come out and bring you your groceries if you do order. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be crazy. Walmart, I don't blame you because people talk about they gonna be stealing. Walmart ain't trying to take that L. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, all the Senate has to do is get 4 more Democrats to sign the clean resolution agreement to open up the government. But instead, they are trying to blame Trump and the Republicans for the shutdown. They know Trump and the Republicans are not going to agree to all this money going to 25 million to climate resilience in Honduras, 13.4 million on civic engagement in Zimbabwe, 3 million on LGBTQI plus democracy grants in Western Balkans, all this nonsense that they won't put back in, which I would allege they use that money to money launder back to themselves, and Doge caught it and stopped it. So now they upset. This is the main reason why you see them crashing out about this spending bill. And you have Chuck Schumer, leader of the House, that has said on record, this is how the only leverage we got over Trump. So we got to keep the shutdown going. While millions of Americans are suffering because y'all worried about the money that y'all trying to money launder, allegedly. They trying to please the far left of their base, the ones that are the most radical, to just go up against whatever Trump say, regardless. You know, it's if you say, man, you don't rock with the Republicans, you for sure can't rock with the Democrats after this, bro. Because the Republicans, they actually signed the clean resolution. And let's be clear. What is a clean resolution? What is a CR? The thing that they trying to pass to keep the government open. A clean resolution is typically a short-term, straightforward government bill called a continuing resolution, or CR, that continues to fund the government at the same levels as the previous year without major policy changes or additions. It avoids policy riders and focuses on the sole purpose of preventing a government shutdown by simply extending funding for a set period. So this doesn't have Republican policies. It doesn't have Democratic policies. It's a 24-page basic policy bill to just keep the government funded. Why not sign that, and then y'all could go back and negotiate until y'all blue in the face? But I think that Congress shouldn't accept a paycheck until they come to some type of resolution, because this is ridiculous, you know. And another misconception is that Trump can fund the SNAP benefits during the shutdown. Like, you got people like, man, he's spending money, 20 billion in Argentina. And we're gonna talk about that in another video in more depth. But people not getting their paychecks or their food stamps. He's spending all this money in Argentina. Why don't he put that money into the government to make sure people get their paychecks and get their food stamps? But I looked it up, and no, the president cannot unilaterally fund the government during a shutdown. Funding requires Congress to pass and the president to sign appropriation bills or a continuing resolution. There go that word again. The president lacks the constitutional power to provide funding on their own, as control over the government's purse strings belongs. So it belongs to Congress. Like we always say, man, Trump ain't the only one that got to say so. Congress has to do their part. So Congress has to get this bill, whether it's a continuing resolution, they need to get it in front of Trump so he can sign it ASAP, and then the government will open back up and the funds will be available. But we getting so close to November 1st is right around the corner. And that's under the Anti-Deficiency Act. So y'all can look that up for yourself. The Anti-Deficiency Act actually is the act that says the president cannot fund the government during a government shutdown. But check this out. Trump kind of went against the grain when an unidentified donor gave $130 million in order to pay the troops on the 15th of October. So, Trump got a donor, an unidentified donor, to donate $130 million to pay the troops. Now, actually, they presented that in Congress to make sure the troops are still getting paid for going out there, protecting the country and things like that. And Congress failed to pass that bill. to have the troops paid. So Trump just went on ahead and paid them anyway through an unidentified donor. Now, we don't know, if that's going, the next, that was on the 15th. They next check's supposed to roll out on the 31st. We don't know if they're going to get paid again. That 130 million is stretched, but we don't know if it's going to stretch that far at this point. But Trump, they saying that was against, the grain a little bit. So they saying the Defense Department is actually investigating this move by President Trump to get the troops paid. What do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at him for making sure they got paid. I wish he had the power to make sure these people get their food stamps and all these other people, federal employees, could get paid as well. I hate to see anybody lose their money because some silly politicians in Congress can't make up their mind and come to the table and just say, hey, man, we'll talk about this at a later date, but make sure the American people straight. This is a travesty, and it's on the Democrats. Now, the Trump administration authorized, like we said, a $20 billion lifeline to Argentina as it faces an economical crisis. It's contingent on Argentina's president, Milei's party winning elections after later this month. So it's not this whole situation, and I'm gonna break this down in a separate video in more depth. The whole thing with Argentina is not what people think. He didn't just throw $20 billion at Argentina. For one, it's conditional. So Argentina is one of our allies. We look out for Argentina, they one of our allies. So this is all political, and he's done this so the sitting president, their elections will go successful. And it's like a money swap. Like the American dollar is worth way more than the Argentinian dollar. So we swapping 20 million for 20 million of theirs. So we taking a little L on that swap. But I think it's also privately done. This is like nothing that affects the taxpayers. But we're gonna get more in depth than that. But this is something totally separate that doesn't really have an effect on our economy like that. But it's just something that he's doing for political power, because we got to make sure all of our allies are straight. And Trump can't sit back and stop doing what he's supposed to do across the planet to appease Congress while they got their finger up their butt. He still got to bust moves across the planet. And we're going to get farther off into that. But hey, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I haven't been did any content in a few days, because I really was trying to get my research. And we're gonna dive more off into this at a later date. But I hope you enjoyed this, man. Be safe out there. Come November 1st. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. We love y'all. And until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and blessings.